The living sector is the real estate sector that touches and concerns everywhere where people live. So that is the delivery and occupation, management and investment of new housing of all tenures. So that talks to house builders, build to rent, purpose-built student accommodation, affordable housing, later living and co-living, and much more. Over the past 12 months, we've seen a continued focus in the market on single-family rental transactional activity. That's partly driven by the build-for-sale market struggling due to economic headwinds. It's also driven by the large developers and house builders adopting a greater partnership model and reaping the rewards of doing deals with investors at scale for single-family rental. We've also seen build cost inflation continue. We've seen increased regulation, all of which seems to be well-meaning and well-principled, but with lots of it coming at once, it's caused headwinds with viability.
It's really all been about focus on what we call the single-family housing market. That has really been establishing itself. But there has been a lack of new developments particularly in higher block, city centre, high-end scheme.
It's been a tricky year. I think that's well accepted in the industry. Things that have contributed to it being a tricky year include, from a planning perspective, the amount of regulatory sort of changes, policy changes, legislative changes. The upside of that, though, is that the changes that are being made are actually very positive, all about growth, trying to drive things forward in a very positive and efficient way. The living sector in 2026 will be defined by the constraints around viability, but the fact that I think central government are now listening and understanding that that is a real constraint for the industry. There's been a lot of regulatory change that will come into play from a planning perspective that will help to speed up the planning process. We will see that from the start of the process in terms of people, developers putting through planning applications, but the impact will also be that the delivery side of things will speed up. I think that will be a really positive change.
I think there's a couple of really notable opportunities. So despite the viability headwinds, I think SME house builders in particular have a huge role to play here. They can really accelerate delivery of new housing, and they can do things in an agile way and in a partnership model that perhaps other businesses can't. What they need is assistance with the capital requirements.
The key feature I see for the living sector in 2026 is really going to be this growing focus on more affordable product. And by affordable in this context, I mean not traditional affordable housing under Section 106 agreements. It's more about creating houses and homes for people on average incomes, making rental housing more accessible to them. I'm expecting to see continued interest in single-family housing. I'm expecting to see some portfolio transactions potentially on the larger buildings in the context of existing buildings as against new development.
The key opportunity in 2026 in UK living is that with a small degree of public intervention and the continued investment by foreign capital into UK living real estate assets, we can seriously accelerate the delivery of much needed new housing.